Tassie got a boyfriend. But it really wasn't all that it was cracked up to be. You let me walk all the way up here and you knew you wasn't here. This was my red flag. This man legit made no effort to show me affection, to be around me, to do anything. That all was a red flag. Hey girl, you might want to double check with your man. You might want to double tap and make sure you still in that relationship that you speak of, because what we're seeing, that's not your man. I decide to try and find his Facebook page. And that was the nail in the coffin for me.
Back it up, I put on the show, I be acting up. If he ain't got no bread, I'm packing up. I need a rich nigga with a bankroll just so I can add it up. Say ho, my nigga got him an a-hole. He gon' listen and do what I say so. He know I'm only after the...
Hi, I'm Tassie and welcome back to my channel. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome home. And if you're a new subscriber, make yourself at home by clicking that subscribe button. So, I'm back with another story time. And this one is going to be real in depth. It's gonna be definitely an emotional type of story. And honestly, this is a story time that's basically gonna be its own series because it's just a lot. It's a lot of twists and turns, and it's just a very heavy topic. Honestly, truly. Honestly, I had been planning to tell this story like when I first even made this channel, but as you guys know, like I was having technical difficulties, so I ended up scrapping the whole video, not uploading it whatsoever. But I had actually attempted to make this video like probably 2 different times and deleted it, probably because it just wasn't the time. You know, like it just wasn't the time. But all in all, it also had to do with the fact that like I was very iffy on if I wanted to talk about it or not, because this is probably, it's not the most vulnerable I've been on this channel, and it won't be the last time really, but this is definitely a topic where like it has taken me a lot of like mental training to really sit on camera and talk about this, simply because like, number one, this person to a degree does mean a lot to me. Like they still, I don't have any hate in my heart for them. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't really have any hate when it comes to them. So I guess you can say like to a degree I still care about them in some way, shape or form. But it's also because like there's a lot of people that personally know both of us individually, and there's a part of me that's kind of embarrassed by the fact that things have been happening and I haven't been upfront about a lot of them with our mutual friends or with people that know us personally. And I'm kind of like worried about how both of us are going to be perceived, because I don't want anyone to like make drama out of this, essentially. And I also don't want people looking at me differently or like judging me for this. So I just been real hesitant to talk about it. But we're here now, so we might as well just talk about it. So as you guys read by the title, you know what this video is going to be about. So welcome to the series of my first love and how we've been on and off since I was 13.
What?
Yeah. So let's talk about it. So welcome to part 1 of the series. So if that sounds like something that you're interested in, please stay tuned. And with that being said, let's get straight into the video. So first order of business, why am I even making this video to begin with? Like I said before, it's not to bash him. It has nothing to do with me trying to get my lick back. It has nothing to do with any of that. So I just want to put that out there for starters. Second of all, the reason why I'm telling this story as well is because this man has been intertwined in a lot of other stories, and I felt like if I don't specify what happened, then in the future, when I do tell certain stories, y'all are going to be lost. Y'all are going to be like, okay, so who is this? What happened? XYZ. Now, obviously, I'll paraphrase it, but it's like, what's the point of paraphrasing if you don't know the full story? So I just decided like we might as well just talk about it because I mean, it's relevant. You know what I'm saying? Another reason is because I feel like this relationship as a whole, it definitely gave me a lot of life lessons. It definitely taught me a lot about myself, just how to navigate relationships. And realistically, he kind of set the foundation for the men that I ended up dating after him. So it's kind of important, you know, like you never know who can learn from your stories or your mistakes or whatever. So I just decided to talk about it. And the last reason is because like I have been done with this situation. Like honestly, the last time I talked to him, I was like 20. So this has been over for some years, but I can say that like as far as like energetically, emotionally, mentally, I didn't really cut this man off completely until I was about like 23, 24, possibly. So this is me like officially closing that chapter. Like 100% we're completely done. Because again, I've already been done with the situation. I've already like wiped my hands clean of him, but it seems as though like there's still like some leftover energy or something like that. I don't really know how to explain it, but basically I'm just officially like putting it out there into the universe and really speaking on it. Like, this is not what I want for my life anymore. This is not what I expect. I am in a completely different mindset, head space, physical space. Like I'm done. Again, no shade to him. It's just I don't want that no more. Like it's just not my cup of tea no more. Like I'm done. And you know, like I've said before in previous story times, I have a habit of never really talking about like a lot of situations that have happened to me or pain that has been inflicted upon me, because I thought I was doing the right thing and being the bigger person and moving on and stuff like that. But I'm now getting into the habit of like, no, let's talk about it. Let's hold people accountable. Let's tell our side of the story. You know what I'm saying? Like let's just put it out there. So yeah. Yeah. So that's all the disclaimers that I have as we go into this story time. So now that that's out the way, let's really talk about basically how we met and get this party started. Okay, so the year was 2012. I was a freshman in high school, and back then I went to Robert A. Taft. Now, compared to other high schools in the Cincinnati Public District, Taft was actually like a really small high school. Like we had like a few hundred people, so I want to say like at most we probably had like 400, 500 students. It wasn't really that many people. But yeah, like because we were so small, it pretty much was a point to where everybody pretty much knew each other. To a degree, everyone has like mutual friends, some of the same people. We never really had like cliques per se. Like honestly, in my experience, I don't even think that's real. I don't think high school actually has like cliques for real. I think that's just in the movies. But also I went to a small high school, so I could be wrong. But yeah, anyways, the only reason why I say that is because like basically due to the fact that it was a small high school and everybody kind of like knew everybody and intermingled, by the time that we were on like probably the third or fourth month of being in school, we all were familiar with each other. We all knew who each other was. So when they would do like the routine attendance, we pretty much already knew like, okay, so-and-so is here. So-and-so went to the bathroom real quick. So-and-so did this, that, and the third, da, 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 da. Like we already knew. So there was this one name that we had been calling since the beginning of the school year. And again, it's like month 3 or 4 of us being in school. We had got accustomed to the fact that this particular person is just never here. Like we don't know where this person is. And that tends to happen a lot too, where like sometimes people will be enrolled on paper, but they go to a completely different school for whatever reason. So, you know, it's normal inner city type of stuff. So when this person's name is being called, I'm going to call them Tyler, like Tyler James West. I don't know. But yeah, basically there's this boy and we call his name all the time and it's Tyler James West. Is he here? But again, we already know this man ain't here. We already know this man ain't coming. The teachers already know that this man ain't coming. So on a random day, just way deeper into the school year, on a random day, we do the same thing where we go through the routine, and at some point the teacher had been taking attendance and has said like,
I don't know why Tyler James West's name is still on my roster because he's not here.
And we're all thinking the same thing, like this man ain't never here. I don't know why they keep calling his name. At this point, just mark him absent. Would you believe it that on this day, a hand goes up? And when I tell you like literally no dramatics, the whole class stopped. The whole class stopped, turned and looked at the hand and looked at the person and were like, who are you? Cause like, I kid you not, we were in, I remember the bell. We were in English. English was our sixth bell. It was our second to last bell of the day. We were in English and we saw that hand go up. Tyler had apparently been here this whole entire time. As far as that day, not like since the beginning of the school year, but Tyler has been here this whole day. When I tell you, none of us peeped that this man was in our class. Nobody peeped that Tyler was here. Tyler never introduced himself. Tyler never did anything. So we're all just like, so have you just been getting marked absent all day? Like from bell one all the way until now? And you never said anything? Like I'm confused. Cause it was literally like he was a ghost. Like, where did he come from? And then even when he raised his hand, he didn't really say here. He didn't say anything. He literally just raised his hand. And then the teacher was like,
Oh, you're Tyler? Oh, well, welcome.
and that was it. This man did not say anything. So we all are just like, okay, well, now we know who Tyler is and now we know what Tyler looks like. And let me just describe Tyler. For a second. So the worst thing about it is that like he already was like kind of quiet, you know, but this man used to wear this like dark, it wasn't navy blue, but it was like a dark blue. It was like a real dark blue. He used to wear this dark blue Hollister hoodie. And he would just have the hood on the whole time. And you know that in school, they never want you to wear a hood. They never want you to wear a hat. This man was incognito. We did not know that man was there the whole entire day. So nobody even seen him enough to tell him, hey, take your hood off. This man was in a hoodie in the back of the classroom the whole entire time, just to himself. Completely. And not even trying to be funny, but I think it also had to do with the fact that he was dark skinned too. So like his hoodie and his skin, it just kind of blended in with each other. Like, not fully, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it was just, he's wearing all dark colors. Like he's a shadow. So it was just so crazy that like, bro, we literally did not know that this man was here the whole entire time. We had no clue that this man had been here this whole entire time. Period. So yeah, we finally know who Tyler is and we go about the rest of the school year. So yeah, now we know who Tyler is, but the thing about Tyler is that Tyler never was consistently coming to school. So that first day that he made himself known, after that, we didn't see him until like probably a month later, 2 months later. And there was like, you know, little dots here and there where he was actually present. But yeah, all in all, Tyler was never really at school. Tyler never really messed with school like that. And sometimes when he did show up to school, he would always eventually end up leaving early. So it was just like, again, like, who is this? Who is this man? We don't know. But yeah. So again, we started to get to know everybody. Now we know who Tyler is. And we just got accustomed to his routine. We got accustomed to, you know, he's just reserved. He's just quiet. He just is who he is. Now, I personally never spoke to him. I never personally like reached out and tried to get to know him because I don't know. Like, I was never really a social butterfly like that. Like, I wasn't shy, but I don't know. Like, I just never talked to him. But one day I'm with one of my friends and we're going to call this friend Trina because she will come up later on in the story, but like way later in the story. So we were coming back from lunch and we were headed to our Spanish class, and me and Trina were together and we were walking up the steps. And as we're walking up the steps, Tyler and one of his friends is in front of us as well. And I don't know what it was about them steps in high school. They used to wear me out. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm already kind of out of shape and I'm not like active. I've never done a sport a day in my life. So I'm not gonna lie, like, I was gonna get winded regardless, but I swear there is like a chemical or something that is in the steps of high schools because I was tired. I was absolutely tired and we had just got done eating. So like, I think that just all contributed to it. So me and Trina, we're walking up the steps and we joking about how like, oh my God, these steps, they are so hard to get up. Oh my God, we're tired. So Tyler and his one friend is like in front of us, and my friend Trina had just joked and mentioned like,
Tyler, can you carry us up the steps?
And then before she could even turn to his friend, Tyler literally runs up the steps. He runs up the steps and then looks back and is like,
Huh? What you say?
and I'm like, no, this nigga didn't. Like, I was just like, oh, he really played us. But again, it's all playful. Nobody's serious. But yeah, so him and his friend end up getting into Spanish quicker than us. We finally make it up the stairs, huffing and puffing. And we finally walk into Spanish class. And that was the first time that I had ever actually spoken to Tyler. So I looked at Tyler and I'm like, you skep as fuck. Like, I just told him straight up, like, you're skep as fuck, and I'm gonna remember that. And then, like, you know, I seen him and he smirked to himself, and then I just sat down. So that's the first time we ever interacted, okay? Keep that in your back pocket. So fast forward into like the second semester. We done had like Christmas break, Thanksgiving break. When we back from school, I think around this time it was definitely hitting spring. So like summer vacation was getting close. And again, we're in English all over again. So the routine that we had in English class is that we would always have a journal entry. And then after everybody was finished, our teacher would want to share like at least 3 journal entries from individual people. And then he would tell his own individual story, and then we would do the classwork. I don't exactly remember what the journal prompt was, and usually I remember I used to keep all of my schoolwork. I threw majority of it away because I realized that I was low-key a hoarder. But yeah, like I usually keep my stuff, so I can't even like open a notebook and show y'all what the journal entry was. But it has something to do with like the government lying or something like that. Like it was something like that. Like, do you feel like the government should lie to their people, or do you think they should tell the citizens the truth, or something of that nature? Yeah. So of course we do what we're supposed to do because it's classwork. Okay, everybody write into your journals, cool beans. And back then, I'm not gonna lie, back then I was not as, I don't want to say woke, I wasn't as like articulate as I am now. I don't really like I was always a big thinker. I was always just like, what if, you know, I tend to overthink, if anything. But I also used to like have a really bad ego in a way. So I did have a tendency to think that like my answer is always the right answer. So I remember that I had written down like, no, just flat out no, like you shouldn't be lying to your people, they deserve to know, or something like that. Like it was something of that nature. So a lot of people would volunteer to tell their journal prompts, or sometimes he would just randomly pick. Today, he decided that he wanted people to do it themselves. Like, do you want to be a part of the discussion? And I will never forget that the first person that raised their hand was Tyler. And that was shocking because, again, this man never really spoke. Like, you don't really hear him speak for real. It wasn't that he couldn't talk, obviously, but it's just like he had been incognito. He had been, you know, like just in the background the whole entire time. But I will say by this point, he definitely got way more comfortable. Like, we started to see him get way more like accoladed to like the people, and he started to make way more friends, and I did see him like, you know, start to have a little bit more fun. So by this point, he was with one of my mutual friends. Like, he was sitting with one of my mutual friends. Well, one of our mutual friends. What am I saying? But yeah, like basically we had a mutual friend in common, and I'm gonna just name this one Dante, just for the sake of it. So our mutual friend Dante, he had gotten really, really close to him. So he was sitting with Dante when this happened. And when he reads his journal prompt, it was very educated. Oh baby, it was shut me all the way up. Cause I low-key was gonna share mine that day. Cause I usually don't. But like after him, I said, oh no, I'm not sharing shit. I ain't got nothing to say. He got that. Cause he basically he sees both sides of the argument. He's just like, I think you should tell the truth as far as like loyalty, but no, because there are certain things that the general public can't handle. And at the end of the day, you're the leader. You need to be the one to make the decisions. Blah, blah, blah. It was very educated. I'm just paraphrasing because like I don't remember word for word what he said. But yeah, it was very like, oh. You know, like I don't walk into situations assuming that people are dumb, but I just wasn't, I don't know, like I wasn't expecting him to be articulate like that. I didn't expect him to really be that deep of a thinker. Like I didn't expect a lot. I didn't expect much. But yeah, he did that. He did that. So yeah, like that was the first time I really ever took notice of him, and everybody in the classroom kind of took notice of him after that as well, because like again, he never really said anything. He never really talked. So one of our classmates had like complimented him, and they were just like,
Yeah, bro, you got that. I don't think nobody want to go after you.
and that was the first time that I seen him, you know, actually like crack a smile. Like he, again, like he was finally opening up. He was finally getting comfortable. I'm like, okay, what's up? Now, I will say, by this point, y'all know this. By this point, y'all know this. Or have I told y'all? I probably told Instagram. But either way, I am a sucker for teeth. I am a sucker for a good set of teeth. And he had the prettiest teeth I have ever seen in my life. And I was like, oh, okay. Damn, now my voice cracked. Anyways. But yeah, like that was the first time that I ever like really took notice of him as an individual. But nothing really moved after that. Nothing really moved after that. I was just like, oh, okay. He's smart and he got nice teeth. All right. And I moved on. So now it's April, and I want to say it was like April 18th. I want to say it was April 18th, but I'm not 100% sure. But it was sometime in April, and it definitely had like a 1 in front of it because that was our fake anniversary. We'll get there. We'll get there. Don't worry. But yeah, like it is now April. We have about like 1.5 months left until we like, you know, move on to our sophomore year of high school. And on this particular day, we are in the last bell. We are in the last bell of school. Now, as I said earlier, this man, Tyler, he did not like school. He usually would leave early. Usually. Or if he did stay until 6th bell, he would definitely be gone by the 7th. He really did not stay full days, for real. Like he didn't. So I did kind of take notice when we walk into physical science, which was the last bell, and he's still here. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. Go back to doing my work. But I took notice of the fact that him and our mutual friend Dante, they were having like a discussion, and they had been having a discussion since like our 5th bell, which was algebra. So I'm just kind of like, okay, they real close. Like, okay, they friends. I'm over here just excited that he making a friend. He getting more comfortable. Like, yay, good for you. And as they're talking, I am noticing that like they're talking like a lot. Like a lot. I'm like, okay, so he's really comfortable. But as we're coming into physical science, I'm already sitting in my seat. Dante is basically my lab partner. Like we didn't have official lab partners because we weren't really doing labs like that yet. But he was the one that sat next to me at my table with like 2 other people. So as they're talking, there comes this one boy. I'ma just call him Spiffy. I don't know why, but yeah, because he's not relevant to the story anyways. But basically, as Dante and Tyler are talking, Spiffy comes in and he's trying to get to know what they talking about, and he has said something like,
oh, I can't help.
And Dante and Tyler look at each other and they like smile at each other, and they like,
nah, bro, you can't help with this one,
and start laughing and dapping each other up. So Tyler, he goes to sit down in his seat, and he is basically like, okay, so the classroom is obviously set up like a square. So where me and Dante sit, we are back. We're in the back of the classroom on the left side. So yeah, we're on the left side in the back. Tyler sat at the very front on the right side. He's at the very corner of the room. So Dante comes to sit next to me. And we're just, you know, regular chatting because we're friends and we're waiting on class to start. Nothing abnormal. But then Dante just, for some reason, randomly asked me,
hey, how you feel about Tyler?
As far as what?
Oh, I mean, you know, like you cool with him or whatever?
And I'm just like, I mean, I don't really know him like that. Like, I ain't got no beef with him, you know, like, I I don't understand. Like, I mean, I guess he cool, but like, I don't really know him to be like, oh yeah, we kick it like how me and you kick it. Why? What's up? And he just simply was just like,
oh, okay, cool. Okay. He just wanted to know that.
he do? Oh, okay. All right. So at first, I don't think anything of it because, again, Tyler was known as being very reserved and very to himself. So I'm not thinking that like, oh, this means something. I'm thinking maybe he's just trying to be friends. Like maybe he just, you know, like he's getting a feel of everybody else in the room because me, myself, I was labeled a quiet kid. So maybe he has the vibes that other people are having where it's just like, is it okay to talk to her? Is she going to talk back? Like, you know, so I'm not thinking that deep into it until Dante gets up.
I think somebody trying to set me up. I believe that.
Dante gets up in the middle of class and he walks over to Tyler and him and Tyler start talking. That was when I knew, something's going on. And it involves me. Okay, noted. So Dante comes back and he's just like,
Yeah, he just wanted to know that. He just wanted to know that. That's all. That's all.
and I'm thinking like, you know, that's cool. Like that's pretty much the end of it. But Dante did this like probably 3 more times. I kid you not. Dante did this like 3 more times. He would ask me a question about Tyler or I don't know, like he just would ask like very suspect questions and then he would go back and he would tell Tyler, and I'm just sitting here watching this whole transaction go on and on and on and on and on, and I'm just like, what is this man up to? So then he comes back for the final time and he's just like,
Yeah, I think y'all should get to know each other. Like, are you open to get to know him?
I'm like, yeah, like I don't mind. So then he said,
Yeah, that's good. That's good. You know, I think the best way y'all can get to know each other is to date.
now I'm not gonna lie, I seen this coming. I seen it coming because again, the questions was just suspect. Number 1. Number 2, the fact that you would tell him in real time in front of my face, like I already felt suspicious, but it was just funny. I just found it really funny. I'm like, dude, you are a terrible fucking wingman. Like, you were supposed to be smooth with it. You ain't smooth at all. Like, this is actually awkward. It just got really weird really quick. So when he says this, I'm just like, oh, because in some cases, I am kind of traditional. And it's just like, I don't think that that's the best way to get to know each other. I think that's low-key a commitment. Low-key. So I'm just like, oh? And he's just like,
Yeah. Just you know, like give it some thought. Give it some thought. Like. But either way, I think y'all should really get to know each other. Like, I think y'all will be really good friends.
wow. Okay. So anyways, the teacher ends up, you know, conducting her class. She gives us a packet and she's like, okay, this is classwork and whatever you guys don't do, it's homework for tonight, whatever. But I just want to make sure that you guys get it done before we have this final or before we have this test. What was it? I don't even know. But yeah, basically classwork, get it done. Make sure you have all your answers correct. Why did Dante literally hop? I'm talking about he hopped and kind of hovered over his chair. Mind you, Dante is tall as shit. Tall as hell. Okay, so imagine somebody that can't even fit into this view that y'all are seeing right now. So this man is already like probably up here and he hops and he hovers. He's hovering. And he has his hand up. He has his hand in the air and he's like,
Oh, Miss Pryor.
And I'm looking at him like, I know your big ass didn't just do that shit. Like, what is he doing? Do you know this big motherfucker sat up here, hopped up out his chair and had his hand up and said,
Miss Pryor, can we work in groups?
You better stop! Stop!
terrible wingman. Do you hear me? Terrible wingman. Cause bro, why would you do that? And of course, like our teacher, Ms. Pryor, she ends up saying like, well, yeah, sure, as long as you guys get the work done. And instantly, I kid you not, Instantly, this man yells across the room, and he's like,
Tyler, come here. Tyler, Tyler.
why? For what reason? I don't even know if he was embarrassed. I'm embarrassed for him because that whole situation was just wild. It was awkward. It was just really awkward. I swear. It was just, oh, it was so awkward. Ugh, like I cringe even thinking about it now. But yeah, anyways, Tyler, who looks nervous to me, he's walking over and everybody breaks out into groups and they go to sit with each other. Me and Dante are still in the same area. We're still at our original table. Tyler is the one that walks over, and Tyler sits in the empty chair that is directly in front of us. So we're all just kind of sitting there and we're like, oh, okay, yeah, let's do this packet because I'm ready to do the packet. And of course, Dante being Dante makes it worse. And he decides to go,
Hey, Tyler, you want to switch seats?
First of all, again, I feel uncomfortable. I feel uncomfortable. I feel secondhand embarrassment. I feel just, I want to run for the hills. And I look at Tyler. There is literal fear in this man's eyes. But it's so funny because his whole demeanor gives off nonchalant. His whole expression was like he was forcing himself to just be like, you know, like chill. I seen nothing but fear in this man's eyes when he said that. And he just simply looked at him and was like,
It don't matter.
And yeah, so they switched seats. So now Tyler is sitting next to me and Dante is sitting in front of us. So you would think that in a situation like that, this would be like the prime moment for you to like, I don't know, like do whatever it is that you need to do. Or the fact that Dante himself is the one that essentially set this whole thing up. You would think that he would be like the mediator, or like he would try to be like, hey, Tassie, this is Tyler. Tyler, this is Tassie, or something of that nature. This man left us high and dry. He left us high and dry. And I'm sitting here with Tyler and he just there. He just there. He's just silent. I kid you not. It was like that for way longer than it should have. Way longer. And I didn't know what to do. Cause I don't know. Like, what do you say? I don't know. I don't know. I genuinely don't know what to do in this situation. So I'm just sitting there and I'm like patiently waiting, and it just got awkward. So tell me why it was so awkward. I start helping the person next to me. They weren't in my group. Honestly, I never even spoke to that particular person for real. Like, we weren't like really besties or nothing like that. I started helping them out because it was just that awkward. I'm just sitting there like, oh, this is weird. And I'm just thinking in the back of my head, like, it's because of Dante. It has to be because of Dante, because there is no way. Like, he made it awkward. He made it very obvious, and I think he's uncomfortable and embarrassed now. But either way, I'm just, you know, turning my attention elsewhere because I'm just like, oof, I wish this wouldn't have happened. I wish this wouldn't have happened. It is literally like a few minutes before it's time for us to dismiss. I kid you not. So our bells on average were like, what, 30 minutes possibly? So it's literally like about probably 10 minutes before it's time for us to leave and go home and get on buses and stuff. And this man finally taps me. He taps me on my shoulder, and I turn and I look at him, and he has his phone out. And he's just like,
Can I get your number?
and again, it's like, we ain't really have no conversation. We didn't really do too much. Like, it was just so crazy that, like, that was the first question. That was the first, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was wild. But of course I gave him my number, and I was kind of embarrassed because at that time I had a flip phone. Yeah. So I was kind of embarrassed to give him my number because I'm like, I have to pull this phone out so that I can save his number. I don't want him to know that I have a flip phone. But he had like a QWERTY keyboard, so I mean, I don't think he cared. Was it a Sidekick? I don't know. But yeah, like we were in the age of like everybody having an Android or like iPhone or whatever, and I had a flip phone. So I was embarrassed. But he didn't care. He was just like,
it's a phone.
y'all, this is literally his tone of voice. So like I'm not laying it on thick. This is literally how he talks when he's just like on that first level of meeting you. He's just very like monotoned, very, very low. So yeah. So after he asked for my number, we did have like a mini conversation, but it wasn't really like that in depth. He asked me like where I'm from, like what part of the city I live in, if I was coming to this school next year, and probably like 2 other questions. And then it got kind of awkwardly quiet again. Like the conversation just ended. And again, I don't really know what to say, but apparently he don't either. So it got awkward all over again. And then Dante finally comes back and he's just like,
Oh, it's a little quiet over here. What, like, y'all cool? Like, it ain't much chatting.
and I'm just like, yeah, we cool. And then Tyler's like,
We cool.
so Dante had said something, I forget, but that prompted for Tyler to be like,
It's gonna go down in them text messages, though.
What?
what? What does that mean? Like, whoa. Mind you, this was like a few years before it go down in the DMs. So what do you mean? What do you mean, sir? What do you mean? I would later find out what he meant. But at the time, I'm like, what? What does, huh? Like, what are you got questions you can't ask me here now? Why? I'm okay. So yeah, school lets out for dismissal. We go home and I didn't get a text from him until what, like 5 or 6? And that's when everything started, essentially. So I'm gonna just say it right here, right now. I don't know if he's still like that, but from what I understand about him and from what I've known, especially since the very beginning, this man sucks at texting. Sucks at it. Very bad. So he texted me at around like 5 or 6. And we had been talking all the way until late into the night, not because we were just nonstop talking to each other. No, babe. No. It was because I would answer one of his questions, or he would ask me a question, I would ask him a question or something. It would take this man like 30 minutes to reply. And I'm just sitting here like, Lord, is he alright? Like, I'm being patient though, because again, like he gave off that vibe that he was just very like shy and to himself. But I'm just like, damn, dude, it is taking like 10 business days. But either way, and let's be real, this was my red flag. But I was a child, literally. I was a child, didn't know any better. In classic fuck nigga fashion, this man claimed me off rip. There was no discussion. That man asked me if I was single. That was it. He asked me, are you single? Next thing I know, he's referring to me as bae. How you know I wanted this? You ain't never asked me if I wanted to be with you. You ain't asked me nothing. You just went with it. And you know what? But you know what? Can't get mad, because guess who ain't corrected?
And
I mean, you know, but I'm not gonna lie. When it first happened, I was thrown off. I just didn't know, like, if I say don't call me that or say no to that, will he take that as like I'm not interested and I'm rejecting him? Because it wasn't like I was rejecting him. I'm not gonna lie, like I wasn't like that inclined to date him, but it wasn't because like he was like it was anything wrong with him or like, ew, I don't want to talk to him. It's just, you know, like I wasn't really checking for him. I just wasn't really checking for him like that. He was checking for me apparently, but I just wasn't really thinking about him like that. So I didn't want him to take it wrong. So I pretty much just let him do it. I just let him call me babe, but I'm just kind of sitting there like, I don't know why. He just randomly started doing that because I thought we were supposed to be getting to know each other and now we automatically in a relationship. Okay, that's a little crazy. But again, that's how you know a man is going to play in your face. I know that now. But yeah, so for a minute, it's like romantic a little bit. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm like, oh, okay, he feeling me, okay. And then he ends up texting me and he says something like, I feel like I could change your life or something like that. And I'm just like, really? You know, playing all sweet and innocent and shit. And this man texts back and says,
Yeah, I could change your life with these back shots.
No ma'am. No ma'am. No ma'am. No ma'am.
Sir, what? Like, again, it was so romantic. He had a way with words and he ruined it. I'm like, what? Like, oh my God. So then I had to burst his bubble and I had to put my foot down right then and there. And I said, no, you won't. No, you won't, because I'm a virgin. I ain't with that. Fully expected him to stop texting me after that, because I'm just like, in my head, I know exactly what he want. Cause yeah, no, we're not doing none of that. Not today, sweetie. But surprisingly, he texted me back. And he was just like,
Oh, word? Oh my God, I think you the first virgin I ever dated.
sir, we're 13. What? And I told him straight up. I told him straight up, I'm like, I don't know if that's supposed to be an honor or if I am absolutely disgusted. Because what do you mean? Like, what do you mean? And he texts back and he's just like,
I mean, that just definitely shows, like, you know, me as an individual and, like, what type of people I allow in my life. So, you know, you justified in feeling that way.
y'all, I'm a sucker. I'm a sucker. I am. Because that was enough. Because right then and there, again, I was young. I ain't know no better. That all was a red flag. But the fact that he said that, I'm like, damn. We love a self-aware king. You know, so that was enough for me. And then I had went on to tell him, like, you know, like, I never even had my first kiss. Like, I never had my first kiss. I was still a virgin. Like, I was just completely untouched, honestly. And he was just like,
Wow, you are so special. You are literally perfect.
yeah. Like, y'all, I can't even I am low-key conceited. Low-key. Like, I'm not a mean girl and I don't really pass judgment on nobody else, but I can be real. I am a little bit conceited and I do have an ego, and I've told y'all about that and I've been working on it. But yeah, red flags just magically disappeared after that, because you're right. I am special. I am definitely a rarity, and I'm glad you notice it. Yeah, because that's me. So we started talking more and more, and it went late into the night, and because I'm just a head ass low-key, as we were talking and he was doing his usual romance or whatever, I will never forget that I was laying down in my bed, lights were completely off, it was raining outside, it was just like beautiful. And yeah, from that day we started dating. That was my boyfriend, and I was no longer single. So yeah.
No. Wait.
So you would think that, like, at this moment, it's like, okay, Tassie got a boyfriend, cool, like, we cool or whatever. But it really wasn't all that it was cracked up to be. So for starters, I feel like part of it might have partially had to do with me, because I will own up to my part. But neither one of us really went out of our way to tell people that we were dating. So yeah. So it was like a handful of people that were aware, and that was only because, like, again, they were our mutual friends and they were people that we trusted. But like, we never really was like public or like boyfriend girlfriend. We wasn't really like out there like that, because we was both two awkward ass kids. Like, we were just very awkward, and we didn't really know how to talk to each other. We didn't really know how to do much with each other. But again, it's like our relationship was still new, you know? And not only that, like, we definitely were like a new experience for each other. So like, for him, I guess I was like the first like goody goody two shoes, nose in a book type of girl. And with him, he was a hood nigga. He was definitely in them trenches. Definitely. He was ghetto as hell. Again, he was very reserved, very quiet, but yeah, he's ratchet as hell. Ratchet as fuck. So we were both just a brand new experience for each other, so that added on to the awkwardness. So we weren't really like initially lovey-dovey or together like that. Like we just, this is why I low-key didn't want to tell this story, because now y'all gonna know how soft I am. Now y'all gonna know how much of a head-ass bitch I am. So we used to flirt across the classroom. Aww. Like, we would, like, blow kisses and shit. I'm supposed to be a thug. God damn. But, yeah, like, we used to, like, kind of blow kisses to each other across the classroom and, like, make little faces at each other. We was flirting. We was flirting, but we ain't never really, like, PDA. We ain't never really do too much. But, like, yeah, we was being corny. Cheesy as hell. Very cheesy. But you know, one thing that I will say that I enjoyed while we were doing stuff like that, so like let's say we were in the same classroom one day and like some drama popped off, or it would be like some crazy shit, right? We would always end up making eye contact with each other. Like we was shady as shit. I can't even like we were shady as hell, because I would peep something, he would peep something at the same time, and we would just. And what made it worse was that, like, this man would literally text me. Once we get home, he would text me and he'll just be like,
"How you feeling?"
I'm okay. I feel great. How do you think you did on the test?
I think it was cool. So we ain't gonna talk about what happened in science today.
Like, when I tell you, I used to have a ball. Like, that's one thing that I will say. Like, we had a time. When we was cool, we had a time. Because, oh, honey, we used to talk. We used to talk, okay? So yeah, that was like the early stages of our like little relationship or whatever. So it's now the summertime and we're kind of sort of texting from time to time. And I can be real and say that like I feel like both of us kind of got comfortable at that point, but I got really comfortable, and that was during the time where I started realizing that I was really, really, really catching feelings for him. But again, I'm young. I don't know nothing about love. I don't know nothing about nothing past puppy love. I don't know nothing past like, I think you're cute. So I didn't notice that like I was, you know, having these serious feelings for him or anything of that nature. So during the summer was when I started to realize that I really, really, really liked him, because we were just texting back and forth. But then it comes a point in time where we have our first argument. Oh, honey, we have our first argument. And this particular argument had to do with busting it down all over again. So just to give y'all some context, by this point, it is like July. It was July because we had my cousin's graduation party. It was July. So this man has been asking me, like, let's just call it silly questions, but we know what we're insinuating. He would ask me a lot of silly questions. And again, I was a complete virgin at this time. I had not had my first kiss. I had not done anything, like anything at all. So I low-key was getting uncomfortable, because I'm like, why do you keep asking me that if you already said that you respected the fact that I was a virgin? Because what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like what are you actually doing? So by this point, this was probably like the 5th time that he had asked me a silly question. And this particular silly question, number one, came out of nowhere. We were not talking about that. We were not talking about anything close to that. And he decided to ask me,
"So what wouldn't you do silly?"
And at this point, like, I'm kind of fed up. I'm kind of irritated with all these questions, because I just felt like he wasn't respecting me. I just felt like, okay, well, now I know exactly why you tried to talk to me. Now I know what you're here for. But in true Tassie fashion, you ask me a question, I'm going to answer it. So I gave this man a list, a whole list, bullet points and all. Y'all know me by this point. Okay, y'all know me. I gave that man a list. And when he would respond back and ask me to expand upon certain things that were on the list, I said it. Do you know that we got into an argument because one of the things on the list was that I don't want to give the Gawk Gawk 3000. Babe, again, I am 14. I'm 14. First of all, let's talk about just how young we actually were, because to the average person, now that I know what I know now, that was like everybody was busting it down by that point. Me though, I was so young to the point where I thought doggy style, I thought doggy style meant that that's when they put it in the other hole.
Huh?
I ain't had no business sleeping around with nobody. So you want me to answer these questions as if I know what I'm talking about, and I clearly don't know what I'm talking about. That was the only reason why that was on the list. I put that on the list because I thought that was the butt stuff. And you asking me silly questions. Why? But anyways, back to what I was talking about initially. So basically we got into it because I said I don't want to do the Gawk Gawk. I don't even know how to do the Gawk Gawk because we are 14. So what exactly were you expecting? Like, I'm just so confused by that. Now, initially, it was just like, you know, playful. Oh, well, you gonna have to take some things off that list. And I said no. But again, it's like I'm not really thinking too deep into it. Like, I'm irritated, but I'm not really thinking that deeply into the situation. But then he turns around, right? He turns around, and this man proceeds to tell me,
what type of girl is you?
Oh, you want to get fucked up. You want to get...
I know this motherfucker didn't just sit there and ask me. Hold on. What? And in true Tassie fashion, you asked me a question, I'm gonna answer it, okay? I don't remember verbatim what I said. I don't. But I just remember I said, what type of girl am I? What type of girl am I? Okay, let's talk about it. And yeah, I went off. I don't remember what I said. I just know it was ugly. I just know I really I emptied that motherfucker. So yeah. So then he texts back and he's just like,
that's not what I meant. I'm just saying, like, what type of girl is you to where you don't want to do stuff with your boyfriend?
And again, I went off. Because first of all, because let's talk about this. We're going to get deeper into it later, like in this next segment. But you questioning why I won't do things with you or be, I guess, out and proud with you, but you're not the one being out and proud with me. I didn't realize that I was supposed to be the one taking all of this initiative. Now, again, this is why initially, like, the whole relationship was just confusing to me because we were so young. Like, we were so young. We were practically babies. We damn near just got done with middle school. You feel me? I'm talking about mindless behavior, OMG girl days. Like, bro, come on now. Logically. We got to think logically. At this time, because I was young-minded, I still had somewhat traditional values. So I already told y'all, like, I felt like us jumping into dating was a lot. But I had traditional values in the sense of the man is supposed to lead. The man is supposed to do this. The man is supposed to do that. The man is supposed to take that initiative and take that jump. This man proceeded to never kiss me. He never gave me my first kiss, ever. And I assumed that it was because it was linked to, you know, him wanting the gawk gawk and the boompa doomp and the bust down and all that other shit. So I just took that into consideration, like, well, you never kissed me. So why should I be meeting you halfway? Why should I be doing any of this? Because at the end of the day, meeting you halfway, number one, would insinuate that it was a halfway point. You want me to come to you completely. And that's what I have an issue with. Like, I don't understand why you want me to do all this heavy lifting. That's number one. Number two, during the summertime, there was a point in time where we were supposed to link up with each other and we were supposed to go to Washington Park. As I'm going to Washington Park, right? And it was supposed to be one of them things too where like I was with my cousin and he was with like either his brother or somebody that he knew. So it was supposed to be like a link up. You know what I'm saying? This man literally let me walk all the way up to Washington Park with my cousin, and we sitting there, we chilling, we waiting. And then he texts back and he says,
Wait, don't go up there yet.
and I'm like, why not? And he says,
I'm at Kings Island right now.
What?
nigga, why? Like, first of all, you didn't just spawn at Kings Island. So you knew that you were already on your way to Kings Island, or that you were still physically in Kings Island. Kings Island it's not that super duper far away from Cincinnati, but it's like an hour and a half. At most probably 2 hours. You let me walk all the way up here and you knew you wasn't here. So you asking me what type of girl I am, and you as an individual, as a man in the relationship, you have not done anything. You have not done anything, but you want to keep asking me silly questions. You don't deserve the silly. You quite literally don't deserve the silly. Because what have you done? Nothing. So let me expand on this topic a little bit more as far as like us going out and dating. So there was an attempt to take me out and do stuff with me. But the thing is that the stuff that he wanted to do obviously was the silly time, right? In some way, shape, or form, we were going to have some form of silly time. And I was not interested. That was not what I wanted to do. Outside of wanting the silly time, he wanted me to come in with him and drink with him. And again, the type of person that I was at that time, I didn't get into stuff like that. So I can't really say that there was no effort to a degree, but the problem is that if it wasn't one of those things, he wasn't interested. But realistically speaking, we could have done a lot. We could have done a whole lot. So at the end of the day, I was not taking on a date, period. Now, let's also talk about, again, it's the summertime and, you know, the weekends, holidays, stuff like that. He did try to come over my house. He asked me multiple times where I lived at so he could come and visit me or whatever. I did not want that man coming over my house or even knowing where I lived at because, number one, as we all know, I'm very particular about my personal space. Very particular about the place that I lay my head. So I just wasn't comfortable with that just in general. Number two, I wasn't ready for him to meet my mom. Because again, this was during a time where our relationship was still very new. And I wasn't ready for him to do all that. Plus, I've never even brought a man home to my mom, honestly. Like, that's an honor and a privilege. So it's like, again, you ain't really proved yourself to be much. You ain't really proved yourself to be worthy of being introduced to the family. So I don't know too much about that. The other reason too, though, which is a story time that I will eventually tell y'all, I got into like this big fight, like this big disastrous fight. And even though by this point the court case was over, because yes, y'all, we went to court and everything. But even though by this point, like the legal process was completely over, there were certain people that was still in their feelings about the shit. So they definitely was like, you know, like fake animosity towards us. Fake animosity towards anybody that they seen coming in and out of our unit or whatever. And I already knew that like they was gonna try him. Because again, the way he presents himself, he real, you know, to himself, calm, nonchalant. He this itty bitty person. You feel me? But if I don't give that man credit throughout the rest of this series, one thing I will say, don't try him. That's a bad idea. That's a bad idea. Okay? And again, I think he's a changed person now. We was younger then. He was young and had nothing to lose and didn't care about life. Okay? That cul-de-sac would have turned into a graveyard real quick. No, you cannot come over my house. No, you cannot come over my house. I don't have time. I don't have time for that. Okay? I don't have time. I don't. And me being set up the way that I am, you try to touch him, I'm liable to touch you. And we just went through that. You don't want that. So, yeah, it was just going to be drama. It was just going to be drama. It was just going to be another court case. Let's just not do that. Let's just not do that. So yeah, just going back into that. Either way it goes, we never really went on an official date. This man never really took me out. This man never really made that much of an effort to come and kick it with me or to come and see me unless he had some type of motive involved. But to a degree, I did want to clarify, to a degree there was effort. It's just that it all had a motive. It all had some type of intent behind it, and I just wasn't feeling it. But let's also add the fact that, again, we have mutual friends in common. Dante was the one that got us hooked up. Why did none of our mutual friends tell you who I was? Or did they tell you when you just thought, oh, I can turn her out? Like, so what are you mad about, really? What are you upset about? You don't even know. This all is stupid. So yeah, girl, we fell out. That was our first argument, and I cut him off. I stopped talking to him, and I think it was like 3 days later. 3 days later, I reached out to him, and it was only because, like, I just wanted to know for a definite fact, is that the only reason why you wanted to talk to me? Is that the only reason why I'm here? That's another thing I couldn't stand about him too. Our whole relationship. When I tell you this man don't argue, and that, in a way it's good because it's like, okay, we're not toxic. Well, yeah, so like okay, you're trying, you know what I'm saying? But that also used to irritate me too, because it's like he would just sit there and be so nonchalant and have no sense of urgency to the point where you look like the crazy one for being upset about something. So when I had texted him, do you know that this man sat there and responded,
I thought you said bye. Now you want to talk to me?
And
bitch, I'll knock your ass out, first of all, bitch. Like, don't, shut the fuck up. That's first of all. Second of all, bitch, I asked you what you doing. Don't hold me to what I said. You're a man. Shut up, bitch. Anyways, so yeah, we talked it out. He confirmed that he didn't only want me for the silly string. So we pretty much got back together and school started. And yeah, that was it. But then we ran into another obstacle because, girl, I didn't have a phone. I did not have a phone. The flip phone was gone. The flip phone was out of commission, and my parents refused to buy me a phone, let alone a smartphone. So I did not have a phone majority of the time that I was in high school. And it was treacherous. If you think that sounds crazy, well, yeah, I lived it. So I just banked on the fact that I would see him at school. So legit, like, I think we had like 2 conversations before I completely went without a phone. And I just banked on the fact that he was going to show up for school. And school starts. He's not there. I give it a few days. He's not there. Give it like a week or 2. He's not there. Honestly, I don't fully remember when this man showed up. I don't. But he finally shows up. I see him in the hallway. We hug and we go to different classes. Didn't even know that this man was in a different class than me because, again, we haven't talked. So in my brain, because this is when our relationship really started to have issues. Like sophomore year is when I started to notice just how bad our relationship was. So, given the circumstance that I have not talked to this man since mid-July, it is now probably September, towards the end of August, maybe somewhere roughly around that time. So we have not talked in about a month. This is your first time seeing me since then. We technically, last time we spoke, heated argument, all that other shit, right? I understand we're not in the same class, so we can't really sit down and talk about it. We also seen each other when we were transitioning bells, so obviously we can't really have a good conversation while we're going to our classes on time. But then lunchtime comes. I'm thinking, he'll find me at lunch, and then we'll talk. This man proceeds to go to a table by himself and just sit there. And he never comes to me, never talks to me, never does anything towards me. And I'm expected to stop what I'm doing, to stop eating my food, or either take all my shit and go over to him and talk to him. Now, again, at this time, I had very traditional values, and I felt like as a man, you make these advances, you do this, you do that. I'm not going to lie though. Me naturally being me, I'm not going to say I'll never let a man lead, but if I like you, I'm on your nuts. I'm on your nuts bad, okay? So I just felt like I can't do that until I know that he likes me. And the way that I would know that he liked me is if he would have loved me out loud unapologetically. He was not doing that. So to me, it's like, I'm not gonna, I don't know what you want me to do. I'm not gonna do much and you're not giving me much to work with. So let me expand on this a little bit more as well. So the thing is that in my life, in my personal life, and kind of sort of what I was seeing at that time too, like women my age, I was seeing a lot of women provide for a lot of men that were not reciprocating. And basically, I just didn't want to be caught up in that. Again, that was the younger version of me. If you do things out the kindness of your heart, you can never truly get finessed, and you shouldn't really, I don't want to say you shouldn't regret it, but in a way, it's like you shouldn't really let that beat yourself up and make you regret helping that person. Because if you were helping that person for good reasons, then there's nothing to feel ashamed about. There's nothing to talk about. Like, you did what you did and you did a good job and you will be rewarded later on. Like, that's all that really matters. But at the time, that's what I was afraid of. Like, I didn't want to give my all to somebody and they were giving me the bare minimum. I didn't want to give into this person and it turns out that he secretly does not like me. So that's the reason why for me, it's like, you're not really giving me much to work with, because even from the time that we met, you asked for my number 10 minutes before class was over with. That was your whole opportunity to get to know me. That was your whole opportunity to shoot your shot. That was your whole opportunity to do all of that. Now, given it was an awkward situation, so to a degree, I let it slide and I understood. But you're not doing anything now. There's no embarrassment that you need to overcome. There's no nothing. Like, we've had a few decent conversations to where you kind of, you should feel safe with me. I can't control that, obviously. But it's like, now that we're here and we're basically like a decent amount of months into our relationship, mind you, we're in high school. So like, our relationship with each other was damn near like we was married. You feel me? Compared to high school years. So it's like, now is your chance. Now is your time. And you're really kind of making it seem like you don't want people to know that we're dating, basically. But again, it's like, people knew that we were dating. And if I took the initiative to approach him, you would see him light up and you would see him, behave a certain way. But it's just like, why can't you just do that all the time? Why can't you just be that person all the time? Why do you need to be hyped up or like whatever? Like, I just don't understand that. So again, I get it. I now know that I should have never even let that determine how I decided to express myself with him, because that really messed me up more than it messed him up. You feel me? But I still feel the way that I feel. Because you're not letting me know that it's a safe space for me to even do half of the things that I want to do with you. If I do the things that I want to do for you, or the things that I want to do with you, I feel like a goofy. Like, I feel lame. You're making me feel lame and I'm already in a relationship with you. So yeah, like, I don't know what you're asking of me. I don't know what you're expecting of me. I don't really know where this is going, and it's really confusing. So I would wait until I got done with my food. I would wait until I had good conversation with my friends, and then I would go see him. Because what are you expecting me to do? You get what I'm saying? Like I don't get it. I don't get it. And he just kept repeatedly doing this. Like, this has happened more than once, and it happened majority of our sophomore year that we were together with each other. This man legit made no effort to show me affection, to be around me, to do anything. And there was a part of me where I still had really serious feelings about him. I still really loved him, but it was just starting to get on my nerves, because I don't do things for attention. I don't do things for outside validation, but I have to be real and say, like, my feelings were hurt because I felt like he didn't really like me. I felt like he genuinely just did not really want to deal with me, but he just kept me around for whatever reason. Because the fact that you only talk to me when we're texting each other after school, like, why? I have to stop what I'm doing and come to you in order for you to sit with me and talk with me. And even when it was time for us to talk, we never really talked. It would just be the awkward silence that we had in physical science all over again. It happened so many times, so many different times. It's like it was way more good than it was bad. And again, I'm kind of a head ass bitch. The fact that I was able to just breathe the same oxygen as him in some cases, it was good enough for me. So us sitting in awkward silence really didn't bother me at times. But after a while, it started to bother me because why don't I have a normal relationship like everybody else in high school? Like everybody else is booed up and it's obvious. I'm not asking for matching J's, but damn. Can I at least know that you like me? Can I at least know that I'm not wasting my time? Like, I don't know. Like, it just made me feel really shitty about myself. Like, I hated that. But I also stayed loyal because I just wasn't ready to let him go yet. And what also made it worse was that at this time, I think this was around a time where he started kind of wilding out a little bit. He started being headed down like a really bad path. Again, he always been a hood nigga, but it's like this time it just seemed like he was just really getting active, and I wasn't feeling it. So fun fact, never told him this. I don't think I ever told anybody this, but it got so bad that like on school nights I would stay up until like midnight and I would just watch the news because I wanted to make sure that he wasn't, a body that was found or he wasn't in jail. Because that combined with the fact that I had no way of contacting him and talking to him, it kept me up. It definitely did. It made me very, very worried. And it also didn't help that oftentimes people, when they started finding out that me and him were together, they started asking me like, well, where is he? Why he don't come to school? What's going on? And I have no answers. Because we haven't talked. I genuinely don't know. All I know is that I watched the news last night. It's not him. That's all I know. But I don't really know anything. And it started to eat away at me like a lot. No, wait, because I forgot to tell y'all the craziest story. Okay, so one time, I forget how it came to my attention. I think maybe his one friend had came to school and said something. I forget. But there came a point in time where it was brought to my attention that some dudes try to like jump him or rob him, something of that nature. And I didn't know if it was some people from his hood or if it was some people that we went to school with. I didn't know what the situation was in general. So I had a lot of privilege because I was a well-behaved child. Like I had so many privileges, okay? One of those privileges was that we went to a high school that had metal detectors, but the security never really used to thoroughly check my bag. They never even, like some days they just never even looked at it, period, because they just knew like she don't do nothing. She's cool. You get what I'm saying? And there came a point in time where rumor has it that they tried to jump my man. Would you believe it? Baby? I snuck a box cutter into school and I had it on me the whole entire day. I sure did. Because you ain't about to jump my man in front of me. He's not going to be in danger when he's with me, okay? I was ready for the action. I was ready for the smoke, okay? I cannot believe I forgot to tell y'all that. Because that was like the pinnacle of me being the psychotic lover that I am. Like, bro. So yeah, you can't never say I didn't care about him. I did. I could have expressed it a little bit more, but baby, I did care. I did. But then not only that, let's talk about our line of communication as well. I did not have a phone. There came a point in time where we kind of sort of talked about, our communication or whatever. But again, he doesn't really know how to talk. He doesn't really know how to communicate effectively. And I'm kind of, as y'all know, sometimes you got to be very straightforward with me or else I don't understand what's being talked about. So at some point he did ask me about like, well, when are you going to get another phone? And I told him like, probably not going to get one until my birthday. Probably not. You know what I'm saying? Like, hate to break it to you, I'm probably not going to get another phone until my birthday. So then he ends up asking me like,
well, do you have a Facebook?
And I told him like, yeah, but I don't really use it. But that's all I said. That was literally all I said. Again, if you are not straightforward with me, I tend to miss the point of what's being said. So I, at the time, didn't recognize that that was him basically giving a solution. So I can be real and say like, that's my fault. That was definitely my fault. I did not know that. I didn't know. But even with that, it's like the moment that I said like, oh, I don't really use Facebook, he just gave up. He just,
Oh.
and that was it. And it's like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Like that was, bro, like, moral of the story, it just really wasn't much of an effort as far as like our communication with each other, our involvement with each other. And I can be real and say that like I was very young and I was too obsessed with the gender roles to where I felt like he needs to do this and he needs to do that and he needs to take that initiative and he needs to make the first move, because Tasi now make the first move. And that's with everything. Tasi now has no problem pulling up on her man and being like, drop them draws. Like that's just me now. But again, I was like 14, 15. Yeah. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what I was supposed to do. And then like the fact that I was, again, this is my first love. At this point, I had finally processed that like maybe that's what I'm experiencing. I was like fake nervous and giddy around him. Like there was a part of me where like I was still trying to impress him. I was trying to convince him to like me, even though we were already dating. Like, it was just a very awkward time. So, you know, like, I don't really know how to, like, be the person to be like, hey, let's go do this and let's talk about this and let's go here and let's go there. I don't know to be that type of person because I've never had to be that type of person. I'm waiting on my man to be the man. So I'm waiting for you to come up with a solution to us communicating. Because my solutions would have been, number one, for you to come to school. Even if you didn't want to attend the whole school day, you could have linked up with me after school. You know, like you could have met me during dismissal or something like that. Or, because let's be real, because I'm always keep it real. I'm always be 100% transparent, okay? You know you was in them streets, doing what you was doing, selling what you was selling, right? We're aware of that. You don't know a crackhead that could steal a phone at all? Like, I'm just saying. You don't know no crackheads that's giving a phone away for like $50, $20, nothing. You didn't have your hands on like an Obama phone that somebody ain't using no more or nothing, like nothing. Because like I said, y'all, I am a head ass. I am. When I'm in a relationship, and especially when I'm in love, I am such a lame ass bitch. And when it's my man, it is genuinely my man. So I'm going to tell you right here, right now, that man could have got me an Obama phone. That man could have bought me another flip phone. That man could have bought me a brick. And the way I was going to be on that phone 24/7 feeling like that girl whole entire time, because my man got me a phone. Your man bought you hot flamings. Period! You're not touching me, bitch. Like, my man is the shit. My man is this. My man is that. And then, how cute is it that technically I have my own hotline for my man? Girl, listen, again, I already had an ego. I already was low-key conceited. Do you know how much I would have been popping my shit if that would have happened? Do you know how much I would have been popping my shit if this man would have gave me a phone? Just like, this is my number. It's already in there. Bitch, gone. I'm really that girl. And then, you know, he was my first hood nigga too. So like, I didn't really do all of that. I didn't really like, you know, obsess over people in the trap and all that other shit. But like, baby, the way I would have been telling everybody, yeah, my man got money. Period! Yeah, my man got money. My man bought me a phone. Doesn't matter that it was stolen. Doesn't matter that it's a track phone. Doesn't matter. My man got money. He traps for real. You hang out with bums that tote guns on Facebook. Yeah. Like, you think I'm playing. I'm really like that. Behind my man? Oh, yeah. So, like, that's what I'm saying. It's like, all I wanted was the effort. All I wanted was there to be an attempt. And I just felt like there was no real attempts being made. I just felt useless as hell. Like, I just felt like, why am I here? You get what I'm saying? So now we're getting into basically the final moments of our relationship. So again, with me not having a phone, with me not really having access to him, that also made our relationship very complicated, obviously. And it made it more complicated once people, specifically women, specifically some of the girls that we used to go to school with, they would come up to me and they would tell me about him. And it wouldn't be anything along the lines of like, I'm sleeping with him or I like him or anything like that, but basically like start talking about him and talking about our relationship. Now, some of them, they were genuine because, again, we had a lot of mutual friends, but some of it, in retrospect, I now know that like that was them kind of telling me without telling me. So now that time has passed and now that I'm older, I can recognize now that that was one of two things. That was definitely the girl world way of saying, hey girl, you might want to double check with your man. You might want to double tap and make sure you still in that relationship that you speak of, because what we're seeing, that's not your man. So you might want to double check that. But there's also another side of the coin where there are certain girls that are that delusional. Don't know why, don't have a better description of it. But there are certain girls that are that messed up and that delusional to where they really just want to be the other woman. Even if that means messing with him while you messing with him, or whether, oh, I want them to break up so that I can have an opportunity. Even though I see that he's not a good man, I still want that particular man, like basically. So I know that now, and I wish I was aware of that back then, and I wish I was a little bit more cautious of that. But you know, you live and you learn, and it is what it is. So anyways, what do I mean by people coming to me and talking to me about him or telling me stuff about him? It wouldn't really be nothing major. It would just literally be like, it would initially start out with like, when's the last time you talked to Tyler? And then I'll be like, oh, well, we talked like on so-and-so a day and blah, blah, blah. And they're just like,
Oh, okay. Have you seen his Facebook page?
no. Honestly, I didn't even know he had Facebook. Again, going back to what I said, sometimes you got to be direct. So I didn't know that, he had this Facebook page. Okay. So yeah, but they would come to me and just be like, so have you seen his Facebook page? And I would just be like, no, why? And they would basically just be playful a little bit, but they would basically be saying like,
Oh, I didn't know you guys were together. I didn't know that y'all still were together. I thought so y'all still going strong? Y'all still mess with each other? Okay. All right, well, girl, I was just checking.
so yeah, that happened. And that started to happen a lot. But then it would be certain conversations where like it genuinely would be casual, it would just be normal. But having those conversations about Tyler, it made me realize that like I don't really know Tyler as well as I thought I knew him, because these people would have all these little fun facts about him. I knew none of that. Like none. And it's weird because like in a way I do know Tyler. Like I know his mannerisms, I know how his brain works, and I know like when he's in a stressful situation or like when he's nervous, when he's emotional. Like I know him spiritually, I guess. Like I know him as far as like his mental and emotional well-being, but like I don't know him. I don't know him. I don't know him as an individual at all. So that was disheartening as well, because it's like, wow, all these people know my man better than I do. That is kind of humiliating. So yeah, like as time went on, I just started feeling like 10 times more insecure. Like initially I was secure. I just wish that he would have put in more effort. But I never questioned the validity of our relationship or if this man was cheating on me or anything like that. Like I never questioned that. But now it's getting to a point to where, I'm starting to feel really, really insecure, because these people, whether they're doing it intentionally or not, they're kind of pointing out all the issues that are within our relationship and how I don't really know you as well as I thought I knew you. So there would be times where, like, when we did finally get around to talking to each other, because at this point I still didn't have a phone. So when we did get around the time to talk to each other, I was kind of like distant. And I don't know if he was feeding off of my energy, or by that time he was just tired of our relationship. But I was becoming distant. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't feel comfortable talking anymore. I didn't feel comfortable really like expressing myself to him no more, because I just, in a way, I was kind of waiting for him to just say, like, I don't want to do it no more. Like, I was just waiting for that moment, because I didn't know. I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to necessarily break up with him for, like, no reason, but I'm just like, I don't really know what I'm supposed to do. And what made it worse was that one day, we're at lunch, right? And I'm at the table with my friends, one of them being Trina, and the other one being Bianca. And we briefly mentioned Bianca when I told y'all the story time about prom. But yes, we'll have a full-fledged story time about Bianca and my friends from high school. Because, yeah, that happened. So, anyways, Bianca was one of the main girls that used to consistently ask me questions about Tyler. And initially, I didn't think it was weird, because me and Bianca were friends. And she was aware that me and him were together. We were in a relationship. But there came a point in time where I just got weirded out by some of Bianca's questions. And I started to feel really, really, really uncomfortable with the amount of questions that she was asking. So, number one, it's like, I'm already a very reserved person. I don't like people being in my business too much. I don't like people asking me questions about my personal life too much. And even though me and her were good friends at that time, like, I just didn't like some of the questions that she would ask. And then it made it worse, because sometimes if I would like answer her question, she would dig and dig and dig and dig and dig for more info. And it's just like, why do you want to know so bad? Like, why do you want to know all the details and aspects of my relationship? Like, it's very weird. But then not only that, there would be times where, like, if I told her a funny conversation that me and him had or something like that, then she would like somehow put herself in the story and be like,
yeah, if that was me, I would have said this, and he would have said this back, and I would have said this, because boy, you so funny, da da da.
It was weird. It just rubbed me the wrong way. Like, I was just kind of looking at that like, ooh. So after a while, I kind of started withholding information from her. And I don't know if she was noticing that I was doing this. But yeah, so this one day, she does her usual, and she asked me, have I talked to Tyler recently? When's the last time I talked to Tyler? And I tell her, you know, the usual, like, oh, we ain't talking a while. Because, again, bitch, I want you out my business. But yeah, like, I would just tell her, like, oh, we ain't talking a while. Oh, he's busy right now. He's at work. You know, like, I would just say stuff like that. But on this particular day, when I gave her that answer, she shockingly got upset. She got very mad, very, very mad. And she's just like,
you always say that. Are y'all even still together? Like, what's the point?
Whoa. First of all, where is the anger coming from, and why? Like, why are you so upset about this right now? That's number one. Like, what are we upset about right now? Number two, yes, we very much still are together. Like, yeah. So what, like, what are you upset about? So she ends up responding, and she's just like,
I mean, you keep saying that you ain't talked to him in months. You can't be in a real relationship and not talk to somebody for months at a time. That's not how that works. He could be cheating on you right now, and you cool with it, and you don't even know it.
Ma'am, I haven't even gotten the opportunity to be upset. I mean, geez, the fuck, you know? And again, like, I never felt like he was cheating on me. Honest to God. Like, I can be real and say that I never felt like he was seeing other women while he was with me. I did start to notice that, you know, like, he seemed like he was becoming distant and he just didn't want to be in the relationship anymore. But I never questioned his loyalty to me, him being faithful to me. I never questioned any of that. Like, I genuinely never had that thought in my mind. So the fact that she's going out of her way and saying that, it just had me like, oh, does she know that I'm getting cheated on and she's just not telling me? Because, like, why would you feel the need to say that? So because again, I just don't want her in my business, because, like, you being this mad makes me not want to talk to you even more. But I just decided, I'm still going to be very vague. I'm still going to, like, my business is my business. And I just simply told her, like, well, I don't think he's doing that, but when the time comes, I'll deal with it. And the other reason why it really killed me that she had said that too is because, like, no shade, no tea. Again, we will definitely make a story time about this bitch. But she was notorious for being the girl that was being cheated on. And she, by sophomore year, had finally left that man alone. So it's like, babe, you texted that man every single day of his life, went to school with him, and was in the same classroom as him, and he cheated on you with 5 different girls. So I mean, like, you trying to lecture me as if texting a man every day is going to prevent him from cheating, and you mad. Why? So yeah, that was just crazy to me. But after I gave her my initial answer, like, okay, well, I'll deal with that when I deal with that, she then keeps going and going and going and going. So then by this point, Trina chimes in for some reason. I don't know why, but Trina chimes in and she says basically a similar variation of it, like,
but you don't know that. You don't know. He could be lying. And the fact that you're not on him right now, you're giving him freedom to use you like that. Why would you let him use you like that?
Again, why are we so upset? Like, because I'm not talking about, like, they're talking to me like we're friends and they're just looking out for me. No, they are literally upset with me. They are mad at me because I'm not over here automatically assuming that the dude that I'm dating is cheating on me. And, at that time, as far as everybody else is concerned, our communication skills and our loyalty to each other is so strong that we do not need to text each other every single day. This is making you upset. It's making you upset. And this is a relationship that pertains to me. Again, are you guys trying to tell me that this man is cheating on me or not? Like, what message are you trying to convey right now? I'm very confused. So again, I'm like, I'll deal with that when it's time to, I'll deal with that when it comes time, because again, neither one of them has room to talk about what a real relationship is, somebody getting cheated on, XYZ. Because even though Trina was my girl, that was my bitch, Trina was one of the people that was consistently cheating on her partners. That girl had a boyfriend and a girlfriend and was talking to an older man that she eventually ended up getting pregnant by. For y'all, out of everybody, to be telling me about relationship dynamics and all of that is crazy. And I'm being so for real. Like, it genuinely made no sense. So again, what are you trying to tell me? What is it? Get it off your chest. Spit it out, please, because I'm confused. So the more I'm kind of just like being nonchalant and I'm just like sitting there, I'm not gonna lie, because again, people had already been making me feel insecure about my relationship this whole entire time. So I was taking in the information and I definitely was getting hurt, but I still was just like kind of chilling. I'm still kind of keeping it cool. I'm just like, okay, whatever, I'll deal with it when it's time for me to deal with it. But then Bianca gets real upset. The more that I'm nonchalant, this bitch gets real upset. And she then proceeds to say,
I mean, at this point, let's be real. Y'all not in a real relationship and he don't really like you.
And that was the nail in the coffin for me. I can't even perp. That was it for me. Because again, I had already been having those doubts. I had already been having that thought process, and that hurt. That hurt. It did. And I definitely felt some type of way after that. But I'm still trying to figure out why you mad. Like, honestly, why are you so upset? So again, even back then, I was like this. Whatever happens, it happens. Whatever happens to me, it happens to me. That's good enough. So I'm not going to sit up here and vent about it, especially because y'all are very hostile right now. So I don't even feel comfortable talking to y'all for real. But I will have this conversation with my man, when it comes time. and we will handle it behind closed doors. Y'all don't need to know if I'm sad. Y'all don't need to know if I'm mad. Y'all don't need to know if I'm getting cheated on. Y'all don't need to know nothing. Y'all quite literally can just sit there and just deal with it. You get what I'm saying? So I still was playing it off like I wasn't hurt, like I wasn't affected. I'm still playing it off like I'm very nonchalant. And Bianca is just like,
girl, just give it up. Like, it's her relationship. Just let her figure it out, I guess.
like, yeah, bitch. Like, pretty much. Pretty fucking much. Because ain't nobody tell you to do shit. Well, they did, but you didn't listen, so. You know, but yeah. So, at this point, this is what happens, okay? This is what happens. So, there comes a point in time, shortly after this whole debacle, this conversation or whatever, I decide to try and find his Facebook page. And I decided to try and add him on Facebook. That way I could like inbox him and just ask him a few questions and we can kind of talk it out. During this time that I had decided this though, I was downtown at my daddy's house and I was with my cousin. And me and my cousin pretty much was chatting it up, talking about it. Like, I'm asking her like, what do you think I should do? X, Y, Z, etc., etc. And she pretty much was the one that came up with the idea like, okay, just add him on Facebook. That way we can just solve it. So she took her phone, logged into my Facebook account, and we go to his page. We find his page. And the first thing that we see is that his relationship status says that he is married to someone. Now, if you were a child on Facebook in the 2010s, then you already know that the marriage and all that other stuff, they're obviously not legally married. Obviously. But being a child with a Facebook page in the 2010s, that means that you are in a relationship and that you are very dedicated to that person, aka that is your wifey. He wasn't married to me. So strike number one. Now I proceed to send the friend request anyways, because again, I had questions, number one. And number two, I also just felt like, you know, in a lot of cases, because a lot of girls used to do that as well, where they would say that they're married to their best friend. So I just tried to be positive and I just tried to be, you know, like up in spirits or whatever. And my cousin sent him the friend request. So I want to say it was probably like a day, maybe a day or two later, he accepts my friend request. And I look, and magically, he ain't married to nobody no more. But not only is he not married to nobody no more, he is single. Again, I'm just like, you know what? So, again, I was a child. I was young. Communication skills were not as they are today. So I could have inboxed him as soon as I got accepted and just said, hey, I got some questions to ask you, blah, 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 this, that, and the third, whatever. I didn't do that. I, again, was expecting for him to come to me because, number one, you see my friend request and you seen it enough to where you tried to play it off and pretend like you didn't have a wifey. You feel me? So that's number one. Number two, if you missed me, to me, if you missed me and you genuinely missed having conversations with me and talking to me, you would have took that to be like, hey, babe, what you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like again, all I ask is for effort. All I ask is for you to make that initiative. You know what I'm saying? And I kid you not, it had been like a whole week. It had been a whole week. A whole entire week. This man did not inbox me. He's been active on Facebook this whole entire time. He's been liking comments and statuses and everything. Not one time inboxed me. Not once. I've been here a whole week. Never got any response from him. So one day, I decided to take it upon myself. But I did it in a playful way. I wasn't being serious. I didn't have an attitude. I wasn't mean or nothing. But I had inboxed him and I had said something like, how you gonna see my friend request and not talk to me? Or something of that nature. I don't fully remember. But this man texts me back and he tells me basically that our relationship is pointless and he just doesn't feel like he's in a relationship anymore. Oh. And again, I was really in love with this man. I really had some serious feelings, some serious emotions for him. So I was sad and angry at the same time. So I think I kind of like combination told him how I felt, but also was like cussing him out a little bit, kind of being aggressive, you know. And I'm just kind of telling him like, well, why you ain't say nothing and this, that, and the third and blah, blah, you know, like we kind of, it's like we talking, but we arguing. It's kind of hard to explain. And I deleted that particular Facebook page a long time ago. So like, I can't even show y'all the inbox. I would if I could, but yeah, like, or maybe I still can. I'm gonna double check. But yeah, like the whole conversation was just really sick. It was just really getting me sick to my stomach, because by that point it was like the classic thing that guys do when they don't like you anymore. Like, they're very mean. He was very mean. He was very mean, very blunt. And unfortunately, this was the most that he has ever communicated with me this whole entire time. And I was just really hurt. And then he had mentioned the wifey, and he basically let me know that he still got love for me, but he loved his wifey more. And I think like there was a part of me where like, because I had such intense feelings, I tried to fix it. So I'm just like, we'll talk about this when you come back to school, because I can't talk to you like this right now. I can't believe what I'm hearing. Something of that nature. And then he tells me that he's actually never coming back to school, and he's going to trade school. So yeah. And then I had calmed down a little bit, and I'm just like, the typical TV show bullshit. I asked him if we can still be friends, and he left me on scene and logged out of Facebook. Also, keep in mind that this was a few days after his birthday, and I didn't even know when his birthday was until I added him on Facebook. So, as you can imagine, that crushed my heart, because he's basically reiterating the things that have been said to me while he's been gone, while he hasn't been attending school and stuff like that. And it turns out that Bianca was right about everything. And now I'm over here looking dumb. Very, 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 very dumb. So let me explain further as to why I was so heartbroken by this whole breakup and this whole situation. Number one, the most obvious, is the fact that this man pretty much moved on, and he moved on without me. He did not formally break up with me. He didn't let me know that he wasn't interested anymore, and he automatically just went into the world and started dating. And he's in a whole other relationship. Meanwhile, I'm over here still claiming him as my man. I'm over here still being loyal, still being faithful. And what makes it worse is that God only knows how long this man has been single. So, how long? How long has this been going on? How long have I've been out here looking crazy? You get what I'm saying? Like, that within itself is just a very humiliating feeling, because it's like, wow, that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Second thing, right? I never fully confessed my feelings and my emotions to him. I never told this man that I was in love with him, or that I think I'm falling in love with him, or anything of that nature. And it partially had to do with the fact that, like, you know, I felt like if you're not parading me around, not necessarily parading me around, but, you know, again, loving me out loud, if you're not doing that with me, what is the point of me going out my way and being like, I love you so much, blah, 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 because it's very obvious on my part that you don't feel the same way. You get what I'm saying? So I just wanted that reassurance. I just wanted to feel like it was a safe space to really like tell how I felt. And again, I never felt like he was a safe space for me. I never felt like I was really truly secure and comfortable in that situation. But I had planned that on Valentine's Day that I was gonna, like, you know, basically confess my love for him. And it was basically gonna be like, I don't want to say a spectacle. It wasn't gonna be a spectacle, but it was definitely gonna be like big, because I had already made him a card. Back in the day, I used to be real artsy. I, honest to God, have not really done anything creative besides like my graphic design and my YouTube channel. But the last time that I actually like colored and drew something, honestly, I think that was the last time. Now that I think about it, I think that's the last time I ever actually tried to make something creative as far as like physical art. So I had made this man a card. I sat here and had so many like pretty details all over the card. I basically confessed my love for him. In the inside of the card, it was like mass words. I'm not even gonna lie. He probably wasn't gonna read all that. No way. But yeah, it was just like a very big thing. And then there was even a part of the card where like I folded the paper a certain way to where like this heart would pop out. But then the heart had like a little compartment, and in the compartment it was all this confetti, and I had handmade the confetti. You know what I'm saying? Like it was plans. It was definitely plans that were being made. And then the fact that like within that second semester that was coming up, my birthday was coming up, which means I would have got my phone, which means that we would have had better communication at this point. And honestly, which again, I've never said this out loud. I don't even know if it's safe to really say it on YouTube, but again, I'm being vulnerable. I'm putting it all out there because I have nothing anchoring me down anymore. I have nothing holding me back at this point. I told myself that if me and him made it to a year, that I was going to give it up. Honest to God. Because us making it to a year would have told me, okay, he does like me. Okay, he does appreciate me. Okay, he does see value in me. Okay, so yeah, I feel comfortable now. You know what I'm saying? And that was in my own delusion, because either way it goes, and like I said earlier, he didn't deserve it. So even if we did make it to a year, what about it? You know what I'm saying? Like he still didn't deserve it. But that was pretty much like a goal that I set for myself. That was something that I told myself. If me and him make it to a year, I'll give it to him. And by this point, we were literally, well, at least on my side, because again, he been moved on. He been single. So on my side, we were together for about 8 months. We were close. My birthday was in March. February obviously comes after December and January, you know. So I really thought we were going to make it. I'm like, "Oh my God, everything looks like it's looking up. Like everything just looks so perfect." So I got my hopes up very high, and they got crushed within 2 seconds. Because again, I didn't come on BS. I literally was joking. I was playing. This man didn't hold back, and he just let me know, like, yeah, girl, I don't mess with you no more. I've been moved on. So like, yeah, like within seconds, my whole entire romanticized relationship with this man crushed. Everything crushed. Plans for the future, non-existent. Then on top of that, he says he's never coming back to school. So it ain't even no sitcom special like, oh, we seen each other again and we made up and it was this and it was that. It's none of that. It's none of that. This man is literally, I don't like you and I'm never going to see you again. That hurt me. And again, I was a child. So this wasn't no regular, oh, he dumped me, I'm hurt. This was not no regular, okay, we used to date and now we don't. No, this was the end of the world for me. Basically, this was the end of it. I was devastated. I was so heartbroken. So, yeah, just to add on some more context to that, like, your girl was really crushed. Really, really, really crushed. And I was crushed to the point where I had a delay. I didn't start crying until the whole next day. The whole next day. Because I'm still in disbelief. I'm thinking, nah, I'm tripping. That was a dream with my delusional ass. No, babe. No, babe. You got dumped. You got dumped. You got rejected. Yeah, that's what happened. So, yeah, that was the end of our relationship. But, it don't stop there. It don't stop there at all. So, just for the sake of keeping a decent amount of storage, I'm gonna end the video here, and I know that I just ended the video on a very somber note, but you know, just for the sake of making sure that everything flows the way that it's supposed to and y'all can get the video quicker, basically, I'm gonna stop the video here, and you guys be on the lookout for part 2, because in part 2 we're gonna be exploring more into the second time around that me and him link up and become connected, and basically the aftermath of us breaking up, because that is a doozy. That is yeah, it's something. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, please do not forget to like this video. Comment down below how you feel regardless of what it is, whether it is against me, whether it's against him. Obviously don't bash him, but you know, like just leave how you feel in the comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't, and of course share if you can. So with that being said, I thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time.